especially that today we're celebrating women and honoring a grand lady, Mrs. Van Soon-taek. I wish you all happy holidays and hopefully a peaceful and prosperous New Year. God bless you all. Thank you.
So, dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being in this, our fourth event of the season. We are grateful for you all to come to do a tribute to Mrs. Van, someone that has been so special and amazing with everyone and everything that she has dedicated in these 10 years of public service. Today, I have also the honor and privilege of being joined by other ladies that are really amazing and have achieved so much in their careers, in the professional and everything. I have here to introduce you. Well, Sonia Mesa Cuadra, you know her. She's the spouse of the permanent representative of Peru. She's also working. Then I have Her Excellency Raimunda. She is the permanent ambassador of Lithuania to the UN. Then next, I have Doña Cristina Gala. She is in charge of the communication under Ban Ki-moon, Mrs. Van, that we have her. And then I have to my right, Malini. She has been a member in our board for so many years, and she's a pillar of wisdom of our board. And well, thank you all so much for being here. This event will be composed of 3 different sections. But first of all, we will be talking, or the first will be Mrs. Van addressing you, the audience. Then our panelists will tell us a little bit how it is to be a woman in diplomacy. What are their achievements? What are their goals? What have they rejected in the private lives or not done to be part of this work? So it's an intimate talk where we all open and share. After they tell us their stories, we will open the microphone so that everybody of the audience, if you want to share their experience, because we have a lot of people here that are professional, mothers, we have everything. So it will be an opportunity for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. After this part, then we'll do a tribute to Mrs. Van, a person that has given so much for so many groups and is always willing to help, to join, to do a bazaar, everything. She has been amazing. And after this tribute to Mrs. Van, we'll open the microphone also for you ladies or gentlemen to say remarks or experience that you have in the past with Mrs. Van. It's a time to say thank you to her. And after that, the last part will be a celebration. Celebrating women, celebrating Christmas, celebrating friendship. So now, for starters, I will give the microphone to Mrs. Van so that she can say some words to you. Thank you so much.
Sophia and Faika, thank you. And the executive board for preparing and hosting this event today. I'm extremely honored that you have organized this gathering with such distinguished speakers. I really cannot believe it is time to say goodbye. I feel so very fortunate for the great community, many friendships we have developed over the years. The Women's International Forum has been a central and important part of my time in New York. I have learned so much and feel that through these lectures, the world comes a bit closer to all of us. In sharing the unique experience this forum offers, I have felt our bonds of friendship strengthen. It has been my privilege to serve as your patron for the past 10 years. I am proud to support your work that helps us all to learn, exchange ideas, and grow as community. This morning, I attended GA plenary meeting to pay tribute to my husband, and on the occasion of the oath of the new SG, Antonio Guterres. While I was sitting there, I had a lot of reflections and mixed feelings. When I was sitting there for 10 years ago, I had a lot of concerns about my new life in New York, and I didn't know much about the huge UN organization and people in New York. But my husband, I could finish our job successfully with a strong support, warmth, and friendship. I would like to express my deepest appreciation from the bottom of my heart. I received many recognition from the representatives in the GA hall. I was honored and humbled and moved. It is obvious that there was your strong influence on them. Thank you so much for your friendship. As we have prepared ourselves to leave New York, I have been overwhelmed by packing and concerned about how to fit 10 years of life into the shipping containers. But in the end, it is my heart that is truly packed to the brim. It is full of fond memories and great affection for the time shared with my friends in New York. And this is the most precious cargo of all. I thank you once again for today and every day we have spent together. I will miss you a lot, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Now we will proceed with this beginning of the event, where our panelists tell us a little bit how had it been to be a woman in diplomacy, their challenges. Please, Christina, tell us, how is your experience? How about your experience?
Thank you very much. But if you allow me, before saying a couple of words on the question, I would like just to pay tribute to Mrs. Van, since I am the first one that I am given the floor. You are right, Mrs. Van, the ladies here and the gentlemen definitely did a lot of work in ensuring that those that took the floor did what they did, which is pay tribute to your husband, to you. But absolutely every word, I'm sure it was so sincere that it comes from the bottom of their hearts and our hearts. Myself, I can only say two things. You have been such a great supporter of the causes of the United Nations, and with respect to the Department of Public Information and Communication, you have always been present, you have always been engaged, and you have always promoted the United Nations actions, activities and policies. Just now, looking at you and seeing that you are wearing the Sustainable Development pin, it is so moving. So I've seen you dumping water from wells in Ethiopia. I've seen you with kings and queens and princesses, and I've seen you with the most deprived people of the world. And your not only dignified manner, the manner in which you have engaged with all these actors is an extraordinary lesson to all of us. So thanks again. The manner you have led our activities to promote the support for disabled people. Autism Day, you have always been present. So I don't think we have ever had such a stronger supporter in the Department of Public Information than yourselves. Thank you very much. A couple of words about the question on what does it take to advance. I think it takes a lot of work, and I can only say again, a lot of work, a lot of effort. Second, it takes working very closely with our partners. I think the work that we do cannot be realized in the manner we realize in most of our cases without having a very committed and supportive partner. At least this is my case, and I can only be grateful for the type of relationship of support that in that case my husband has. And third, I think we have to help each other more. I think this is an absolute area in which when we have seen that women are able to create networks of support, we see advancement and we see progress. It was so fantastic to see that the role of women in senior positions have advanced during Secretary General Band at the United Nations, and it's going to continue advancing and reaching records during the tenure of Secretary General Guterres. So we need definitely to continue very attached to our families, getting all the support we can from our partners, and we need the structures to be also able to deliver in a manner that these difficulties are easier to be handled. Thank you.
Excellency Raimonda, please tell us.
Thank you. I'm a little bit humbled to be here, I think, on this particular occasion, because we all know that Mrs. Ban has been such a wonderful envoy of her own country, an envoy to the world, but also of the wonderful causes that Mr. Ban and Mrs. Ban together have promoted during the tenure of 10 years, including the advancement of women, women's rights, girls' education. The focus on gender and women's rights in particular has been really a standard-bearing, undertaking of these 10 years. The reality we work in certainly is not as we wish yet, not what we'd like to see. If you look at the numbers of women ambassadors at the UN, these numbers cannot climb above 40. If you look at the presence of the General Assembly, we have 3 out of 71. There was this whole movement this year about the woman SG, and yet we're not there yet. At the same time, ideally, I think, as somebody who believes in my own profession and inequality, I would very much like to see a time when we don't have to advocate for a woman SG or a woman in any other position, because I believe in meritocracy, basically. I think if we're good, we have to be taken for the goodness that we have, for the professionalism, for the qualities that we bring in, not for the gender. In a way, for me personally, although it's a little bit contrary to the general trend to say that it's time for a woman SG, I found it a little bit uncomfortable for my own skin, because I think there is a time for a woman SG every single time there is an election. Like there is a time for a woman general manager or director or ambassador every time one should be elected based on merit, based on the qualities. We're not there. At the same time, we're not there yet. At the same time, I think at the UN, the few women ambassadors who are working here are very seasoned, are the best of the best, because they've had it much harder to get to the top. You have to overcome so many more obstacles, as well as prejudices and stereotypical perceptions of what a woman is or who a woman should be. That to get to that point and to be able to represent your country, you really know you've been through thick and thin, and getting there is a particular privilege, I think, for all of us. And I agree with what has been said earlier, that we all should support each other a lot more, because, again, from the various experiences, I'm not talking about New York only, quite often when a woman says something, she's not heard, she's not listened to. When a man says exactly the same thing, you know, that man is quoted, that man is praised. Although it's exactly the same stuff that has been said. And I think as women ambassadors here, we have to really make sure that we do extend much greater support to each other, or as functionaries at a certain level, to note what we've said, to note what we've done, and to, you know, bring that to the fore, help each other. In that sense, make sure that we promote ourselves through our excellent work, but also through that sisterhood that we should have. That again should not exclude men. I'm very conscious of that, because I've seen some of my male colleagues, while we were in the Security Council, but also in a general context, who are wonderful advocates of women's rights and women's empowerment. And if we exclude that other half of humanity, certainly it's to our own loss. How to involve them, how to get them to speak out for ourselves, for our good causes, is extremely important. And the more we build that interconnection, I think, between the two categories, male, female diplomats, professionals, whatever it is, I think the more we'll be in a winning position. There is a long way to go. I think what has been happening under General Secretary Ban Ki-moon certainly has been important. Greater promotion of women into the roles of importance, and I'm very happy that the incoming SG is so determined to reach that gender parity in various positions. Let me conclude just by one particular comment. I think many of you here, you don't have the job description of a woman ambassador, or a spouse ambassador for that matter. But you are doing very much, to a large extent, you're doing what we're doing as women ambassadors here, with the disadvantage of not having a job description. And I think that sometimes adds to the difficulty of the job. At least we know what we have to do, at least we know where we stand. You have to advocate, you have to stand up for the values, for the principles, for the qualities that you bring in as representatives of your own countries. And yet that indefinite condition, indefinite position that you take as spouses can be a little bit a limiting factor. On the other hand, I think it can be a liberating factor, because not being an ambassador, you can say more and you can speak out and reach out more. And I think that's what you've been using in your own 10 years, reaching out across the line, because that simple difference, that little difference between the official position and the spouse can be a powerful tool in building connections and in making sure that what we all commonly believe in and cherish in terms of advancement of women's rights, in terms of human values and human rights is, it's a common job that we have to do. And I think in that, you have as much power as any of us will ever have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your remarks. Now I give the microphone to Sonia. Please tell us a little bit.
Thank you, Sofia. What a privilege to be part of this amazing group of ladies. I was yesterday, during my daily walk at the Central Park, thinking about what I was going to say today. And the first thing that I want is to express our immense gratitude, Mrs. Van, on behalf of the group of women that we are here, the board and all the members. I know that Sofia is going to say something more about that, but I thought that you also are a wife of diplomat, so you fully understand how important for us is be connected with the issues of the United Nations. Thank you for that. And also, I was thinking about what really be a wife of diplomat means. And I see here that there are many of my friends that have lived to the same experience that I had. But I wanted to share maybe a couple of anecdotes about our life. My family has been traveling for 32 years around the world. And we lived in 6 different cities. However, every Sunday we speak through Skype with my daughter who lives in Barcelona now, and with my son who lives in Denver, Colorado. We keep us united as always. And very early, when I was a young wife of diplomat, someone told me that because diplomat families don't have always houses, the same house, so our strength has to come from our very strong family ties. And the other thing that also I always resonate with me is an advice that I got from a very good friend, a wife of an Argentinian ambassador, who told me, Sonia, the secret is that the kids enjoy the changes if they see that your mom is enjoying. If you take everything as an opportunity, that will be a good way to go with them. And now that I'm here to finish, I want to take the opportunity to mention that you, our members, are part of what we need to enjoy more New York. So thank you for that.
I had the opportunity to listen to different women. Now I give the microphone to Malini, and also before passing the microphone to Malini, I want to say thank you to Malini, because today is her last event in WIF, and she has been truly such a wonderful member, board. She has so much wisdom. She is someone really, really remarkable, and I wanted to say that before giving her the microphone.
Thank you, Sophia, and I think I should say that I am very, very honored to be among such eminent people here on the panel. I am just a homemaker. That's all I know to do. Before I start, I am reminded of a quote of one of our spiritual teachers, who said that what you meet in life is destiny. How you meet it is free will. So destiny takes different turns in your life, and it's entirely up to you to face it, to deal with it, and make the best out of it. So what I'm going to do is to tell you my story, and to tell you how I dealt with this diplomatic life, which looks very glamorous from outside, but those who are in it, they are the only ones who know the real story. So my journey started 38 years ago, when I met this young Indian Foreign Service officer who came and was talking fluently in Mandarin, reading and writing, and very impressive, and he stole my heart. And I became his wife, and we have remained together for the last 38 years. Our first posting was New York. He had already done China. We came to New York. We were a newly married couple. By the time we finished the posting, we became a family of 4. I had my wonderful 2 daughters here, and that was the first gift that I got from this city. Then came series of postings: Algeria, Afghanistan, Malaysia, China, Pakistan, and then back to New York when he came as the ambassador here. And it was like a full circle for me. At that time, I read somewhere, I think it was the same spiritual guru, my guru, who said, do not put the keys of your happiness in someone else's pocket. So if you look at our diplomatic life, when I got married, we were not allowed to work. Especially ambassadors' wives were not allowed to work for money. One could do voluntary work, but not for money. So it was a big compromise because we were all educated. I had finished my post-graduation and I had a degree in journalism. And I came out with my husband on a posting and I was told there is no possibility of work. So endless dinners, receptions, frying 1,000 samosas and coming out with a smile to greet the visitors. But it was great fun. I think when I look back, I think it wasn't too bad, and it had its own rewards in this life. As I said, this is a kind of life where if you look for happiness, or for anybody I suppose it is true, look for happiness outside, you are giving control to somebody else. Happiness comes from within yourself. And this motto or this saying has given me a lot of strength. Because what I did, I enjoyed. And now we have two wonderful daughters. Both have done very well. They have their PhDs and one is working here, the other one has gone back to India. Now, as we face the sunset of our lives, there is a young man and a young lady in our lives, our little grandson, who's the sunshine of our lives, and the little 9-month-old granddaughter, who is the joy of our lives. So, looking back, I think life has been full of invaluable experiences, and I say we are rich in the kind of goodwill and friendship that we have earned in every posting. That is our wealth, and we really cherish it. Just 2 days ago, a very dear friend of mine, Betsy, took me for a music concert. The New York Philharmonic Orchestra was playing Beethoven. And probably she didn't notice, but tears were rolling down. And at that time, I knew definitely that I love New York. Mrs. Ban has been a very special person in my life. We have spent 10 years together in New York. We have seen lots of ups and downs with the organization. And I would like to, at the risk of repeating, I would like to share that little story that I shared with the board. Mr. and Mrs. Ban arrived in 2006 in New York City, and the president of the WIF at that time, Lynn Jones, Parry Jones, along with some board members, approached Mrs. Ban and said, we invite you to be the patron of the WIF. Mrs. Ban was very reluctant. She said, I am a simple housewife. I have accompanied my husband wherever he was posted. I do not make public speeches. But these ladies persisted and she became our patron. That was in 2006. Today is 2016. You have just heard her. I have heard her at many events, many functions. For the last 10 years at the teas that she has hosted for the spouses of the heads of state that come in the month of September. and she's made presentations, and with deep commitment and confidence, she has represented her, not only the organization, not only her husband, but her own self. What I would like to add here is that she has been an invaluable supporter in all that Mr. Ban has accomplished, a quiet worker and a very dignified presence in behind the scenes. So Mrs. Ban, you'll always remain an inspiration to me and to all of us.
Thank you, Halini, for those remarkable words, and thank you to all of the ladies here for telling us their story.